Hi guys, this message is for all the students at Spring Lake Heights. I heard you guys opened up a makerspace STEAM lab, and I think that's awesome. I want you guys to keep building, keep exploring, keep doing new things, keep using your brain, thinking outside the box, because the things that you learn now and those skills that you learn, you're gonna use them later on in life. So the more you do now, the better off that you're gonna be. I can't wait to see some of the things that you guys make. I think your teacher is gonna be able to send me a few of those things. So I want to be wowed, I want to be impressed, and I want to see what the future leaders of America are going to be building in there. So I hope you guys have fun and keep exploring. Hi everyone, it's me, Javier the author, and I'm here to read you my book, The Blocks Come Out at Night. I hope you enjoy it. Saturday morning, 8-year-old Samantha woke up to a big surprise. "When did you build that?" she asked her little brother. "What?" Roger mumbled, still half asleep. Roger opened his eyes. He saw a rainbow of colors standing in the middle of the room. It looked like a stretched out pyramid. "Slow down!" Samantha shouted. "What is it?" Roger asked. "I think it's the Eiffel Tower," Samantha answered as she looked toward the dresser, then back at the Tower of Blocks. "But where did it come from?" "Hello? Down here!" Across the room, a bright red block jumped up and down and waved its arms. Samantha's heart was racing. Who are you?" "My name is Lloyd." "Wow, you can talk," Roger said. "Of course. I was top of my class at Block University." Samantha tried to put on a brave face. What are you doing here?" "Seriously?" Lloyd blurted out. He thought about all the good times he'd spent with the children. "Do you even remember the last time you played with us?" They didn't. It had been a whole year. For the past 365 days, Lloyd and the other blocks thought of ways to get the kids' attention. Mission: get the kids' attention. Hide toys? Nah. Break electronics? Nope. Tickle feet? Sing show tunes? No way. Build epic model? Check. The blocks didn't know what model they would build or where they would find it, but Lloyd had a plan. "The night before your mom's last business trip, a couple of us mighta, sorta sneaked into her suitcase, and we boarded the plane to France." Then we mighta, sorta sneaked out of the hotel to explore Paris. There, we found the perfect model to build for you: the Eiffel Tower. Roger elbowed past his sister to get a better view. "Whoa!" he screamed, tripping and falling toward Lloyd. Lloyd hopped out of the way. Luckily, he had been a champion long jumper at Block University. Samantha gasped when Roger's right arm scraped the top of the Eiffel Tower. "Wobble. Don't worry, guys. My friends and I built that tower. And we're..." Crash! Bang! Experts. Lloyd was horrified and started walking away. He now feared Samantha and Roger would never play with him or his friends again. "Wait!" Roger yelled. "Can you help us build it again?" "All right, Blocks, you heard the boy," Lloyd said, beaming. He began stomping and clapping. On command, an army of blocks marched out of the toy box. "This is my friend Sonia," Lloyd said, pointing at the purple block leading the way. Lloyd met Sonia at Block University. Now she is the best building block engineer in France. She traveled back from Paris to help her friends. "Bonjour," Sonia said. The children watched as Sonia shouted instructions and blocks scampered across the room. In minutes, the Eiffel Tower was rebuilt. Lloyd easily leaped to the top and explained that the real tower stood over 1,000 feet tall. "It's taller than 60 giraffes," he said. Sonia quickly reminded Lloyd that the giant tower's height changes from the hottest days of summer to the coldest days of winter. "No way," Roger cried. "How can it grow or shrink if it's not alive?" "Thermal expansion," Sonia explained. "That sounds complicated, but it just means that some objects change size when the temperature changes. It happens to bridges and railroad tracks too." Lloyd asked Roger to hold out his hand. "You're not scary at all," Samantha said. "You're actually cute and a bit of a show-off." Lloyd blushed. "You're really light too," Roger added. "That's a wonderful observation," Sonia said. "We're made of plastic, which weighs very little. The real Eiffel Tower is made of iron and weighs more than 1,000 elephants." Confused, Samantha asked how such an enormous tower didn't collapse or get blown over by the wind. "Easy," Lloyd said. "In Paris, Sonia taught us all about triangles." "Triangles?" Roger asked. "Oui," Sonia replied. "Triangles are the superheroes of shapes. They are strong, and when they're open in the middle, the wind can pass through them." Roger and Samantha thought about all the places they'd seen triangles. They wondered if the fort they built in the backyard would still be standing if they had used triangles. Knock, knock. "Samantha? Roger? Adults! Adults!" A wave of blocks swept across the floor. The Eiffel Tower vanished. "Au revoir," Sonia said just before the door opened. "Pancakes will be ready in a minute." When the coast was clear, the children walked over to the toy box. Samantha opened the lid and whispered, "Lloyd, Sonia, our mom is going to India next month." The blocks looked at each other and smiled. The end. Now, if you look at the book, you'll notice that at the end, there's actually something called Lloyd's travel log. When he travels, he takes notes of a lot of the things that he sees. There's an English-French dictionary here, some Paris landmarks that you noticed in the map earlier in the book. There's some French food that he tried, and there are even some pretty awesome and interesting Eiffel Tower facts in there. Now, the coolest thing that I think there is to see in this book is Lloyd's challenge on the last page. It's a science experiment that you guys can do at home with your brother, with your sister, or even by yourself. And then you can tell your parents or your teachers all the cool things that you learned. I hope you guys really enjoyed the book. It was really, really fun writing it. The next book is actually going to be coming out soon, so I hope you guys get a chance to see that too. So thank you for letting me read to you guys, and have a nice day. Bye. All right, guys. Now, this is probably my favorite part of doing these things, and I know that I can't be there with you, but your teacher was nice enough to send me a number of questions from you guys. So I'm going to look at them and hopefully answer them. And if you have anything else that you want to ask me, you can ask your teacher and she can send me an email. So let's see. What is my favorite STEAM project? That's actually a good question. I have a bunch of them, but my favorite one right now that we did with my kids is we built a Lego zip line. So we found some string, the kids tied it on the top floor, and then we ran it all the way down the stairs, and we found Lego pieces. We found the wheels for one of the cars, and then we connected some of the axles on the side, and we put two little Lego men hanging from the axles, and we sent it zooming down. And the reason why I liked it is because I have 3 kids. They are 7, 8, and 10. So I use that as an opportunity to teach them about friction, because we tried different types of string. We talked about the slope because we did it in different places, and depending on the angle of the string, The zip line moved at different speeds, so it was so much fun. The only bad part was that we had so many zip lines around the house that every time I walked, I was actually running into one, and I was scared that I was going to trip and hurt myself. So I would recommend that you guys try to make some zip lines at home, obviously with your parents' permission, because it was a really, really fun activity. Let's see what else we got. What inspired me to write the book for my kids? That's actually a really good story, and I can also maybe answer another question, which is how did I come up with the story? So The Blocks Come Out at Night actually came about as a bedtime story that I used to tell my kids. So before I lived in Philadelphia, which is where I am now, my family and we lived overseas. We lived in Oslo, Norway. We moved there for my wife's job, so I actually stayed home with the kids. And I used to put them in bed when my wife was traveling, and all the kids slept in the same room. And one thing that they enjoyed, maybe like you guys did as well, is they loved when I made up stories to tell them. So The Blocks Come Out at Night was actually a story that I had made up over the weeks and months that I would tell them the story. It would evolve, and eventually the kids really, really enjoyed it. And my oldest at the time, he was 7, he's 10 now, but he made me promise him that when we moved back to America, that I would actually write a real book. And as you know, if somebody makes you a promise, they have to keep it. So I kept my promise that I made to him, and I sat down, I wrote the book, and it turned into The Blocks Come Out at Night. What else do we have? How many books have I written? So I have written 3 children's books. The Blocks Come Out at Night. The second book in the Blocks Come Out at Night series is going to be coming out this month, later on. And the other book that I've written is one that I haven't shared with the world yet, but it's about this kid who has the incredible power to make adults say and do whatever he wants. So I'm working on whether or not we're going to publish that one because it's a little different, but I really do enjoy it. And it was the first one that I wrote, but I thought that The Blocks Come Out at Night would be a better thing to put out there, because I think there's a need for early STEM education books, and I thought this was fun. So I've written 3 books, but I hope to write many, many more. Let's see, was it fun to write the book? It was a ton of fun. Not only was it a ton of fun, it was also a little bit of work. I know that you guys aren't there or aren't in front of me right now, and I'm not there with you, but I'm gonna ask you a question, and I'm gonna pause so you guys can think about it. How many different drafts of this book do you think that I wrote before I had the final version? Did you think it was 10? Higher or lower? It was much higher. I wrote 73 drafts. Can you believe that? So next time your teacher tells you, hey, you wrote this, I think you can make it better, why don't you give it to somebody to read, write it again? That would be 1 draft or 2 versions. I wrote 73. It was a lot of work, but it was a ton of fun. Every time that I rewrote it, I made it better. I shared it with my kids. I shared it with my wife. I shared it with some friends. And I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. And just to tell you a little secret about the second book, I think it's even better than this one. So I'm really excited for that too. So I hope we have some future writers and authors out there, because I can't wait to read what you guys do later on in life. How many books do you plan to have in the series? Another great question, and I'm going to pause. So let's see. In the first book, the Blocks went to Paris, and Paris is where? In France. And France is on what continent? In Europe. If you paid attention to the end of the first book, the children's mother is going to India. Now, India is in what continent? Asia. So they went to Paris, France. They're going to go to India in the next one. How many books do you think there are going to be in the series? Nope. 7. There are going to be 7 books, 1 for each continent, because one thing that I really do love is I love to travel. We've taken our kids to a bunch of different countries, especially when we lived in Norway, and it's something that my family really enjoys to do, and we're lucky enough to be able to do it. I know that a lot of times it's hard for people to get away on vacation with work and everything. So one thing that I want to do with my books, in addition to teaching some things about STEM and having kids learn, I also want them to be able to see a little bit of the world like I've been able to do, and I've been really lucky to do that. And that's why there's always going to be a cultural element woven into all the stories, which I hope you guys enjoyed as well. What else do we have? Why do they come out at night? That's a good question. I think the blocks come out at night because it's so much quieter. They can work in peace. It's easier. Nobody's bothering them. So if I were a block and I had to work, I think I'd prefer to do it at night too. Let's see. Did your kids help you piece together the story when you told them the story? Actually, they did. So I'll tell you a little secret. The girl block, the block engineer from Paris, France, her name is Sonia. I'm going to give you one guess what my daughter's name is. Yeah, it's Sonia. But also, the blocks helped me come up with the names of some of the characters. They helped me come up with the cover of the book. They helped me figure out what things we wanted to include in the book. My oldest son really thought that the thermal expansion idea was pretty cool. He didn't know that some things got bigger or smaller depending on the temperature. My youngest son, when he was in kindergarten, he was learning about how triangles were so strong, and even my older kids learned about that, so he thought that would be something really cool to include in the book. So they had a ton of feedback and comments to give me, and I tried to incorporate as much of it as I could, and it was really fun. I mean, they were part of it. They helped me with the second book as well, so it's something that I've loved doing, and I've loved doing with them, and I hope to continue doing. Let's see, what else do we have? Why did I become an author? I think that's a really good question. So I decided to do it. First of all, I made the promise to my son, and you don't break promises. So I kind of had to do it. But the real reason is, so before I wrote the books, I actually owned a business where we taught STEM classes at schools, and we did summer camps. I taught kids how to make video games and build robots and make roller coasters and race cars and bottle rockets, all these things. And unfortunately, I had to step away from doing that when my family moved to Norway, because it was really hard. Well, I couldn't teach classes and run that while being so far away. So what I wanted to do is find a way to still help reach kids and teach them about science and engineering and STEM, because it's so important. And I thought that a good way to reach as many kids as possible would be through books. Every kid reads books. You guys do it at school all the time. And you know, I had taught thousands and thousands of kids through the after-school programs and summer camps that I taught, but I thought, hey, maybe I can continue reaching kids if I decide to write these stories. So that was sort of my inspiration to become an author. And everybody has a different story, a different inspiration. And I think, you know, whatever it is for you that motivates you to do it, I think you need to follow that. So I think those are all the questions that I had. You know, if you guys have anything else for me, let your teacher know. I'm happy to answer her via email, and she can let you know. And I want to tell you guys that I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you and to talk to you guys. I love doing this. I wish we could have done it in a live call, but this is really, really nice too. So if you guys have anything else, let me know, and good luck during the rest of the school year. I know that it's been a challenging time for everyone, but hopefully you guys are enjoying being home, spending time with your family. I know that I'm doing it in addition to teaching my 3 kids who are home now. So thank you so much, guys. I hope this was fun, and maybe we can do it again when the second book comes out. Bye.